Welcome to Beyond the Trailers coverage of the 2014 Academy Awards, giving you an in-depth look at the top categories, with expanded coverage this year throughout the month of February. The Oscars are Sunday, March 2nd, and you'll be ready. In fact, you'll be so prepared, I'm sure you'll have your own opinions on who should take the gold, and you can express those opinions in Beyond the Trailers Oscar poll via the link in the video description. Now let's take a look at the second half of the 9 nominees for Best Picture.
Nebraska.
Yes, the Academy has favorites, and yes, Alexander Payne is one of them. And he plays into that brilliantly by not working very often, making his films a rare and much anticipated treat for his admirers, few of which pay to see his movies. None of his films have gotten to the century mark, Hollywood's benchmark for box office respectability, yet that also works in his favor. And now, well, this one's in black and white. Too bad the artist just won 2 years ago. Plus, what worked for Jack Nicholson could certainly work for Bruce Dern. He's also pulled a neat trick in making Will Forte suddenly a respected actor. The former SNL comedian was named Best Supporting Actor by the National Board of Review. Although, if you've seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, you already know he has range. For reals. In fact, with Nebraska, like Dallas Buyers Club, the real award seat is for the acting across the board. But also like Dallas Buyers Club, enough warmth has been generated to earn it a total of 6 nominations.
Philomena.
Whew! The Oscar Whisperer came awfully close to a very embarrassing year, yet managed a Hail Mary with Philomena. Hollywood has been abuzz for months wondering how Harvey Weinstein would be able to balance 6 Oscar contenders, well 5 after he pushed Grace of Monaco to 2014. The answer was he couldn't, and while Harvey is famous for promising filmmakers he can take them and their films all the way to the Oscars, this year only Steve Coogan will walk the red carpet into the Dolby Theater. And out of all the contenders on Harvey's slate, this was the dark horse. Yet here it is with 4 Oscar nominations, while August Osage County only got 2 acting nominations for its superstars, and Mandela a single nomination for Best Original Song. Fruitvale Station and Lee Daniels the Butler completely shut out. However, in addition to the Harvey factor, don't discount the Brit factor here either. Of all 9 nominees, Philomena is the only contender from the UK, although, interestingly, BAFTA is actually arguing that Gravity is theirs as well, since it was produced by David Harry Potter Heyman, even though it was cold hard American cash that paid for it. Go on, Philomena, sling that mud. You'll need all the help you can get to actually win here.
12 Years a Slave.
American Hustle and Captain Phillips from Sony, Gravity and Her from Warner Brothers, The Wolf of Wall Street from Paramount. Even Dallas Buyers Club in Nebraska never had to hit the festival circuit without a studio behind them. In fact, Philomena is the only true independent film in the Best Picture race, as yes, that's right, 12 Years a Slave is also a studio picture. Now sure, Fox Searchlight acquires its fair share of films via the festival circuit, but it got 12 Years a Slave because the film's financier, New Regency, has a distribution deal with parent studio 20th Century Fox. And Fox was right to hand Steve McQueen's first big Hollywood picture over to their Searchlight label, as it has an impressive Oscar resume. Slumdog Millionaire, Sideways, Little Miss Sunshine, Black Swan, and even last year's Beasts of the Southern Wild. Speaking of Slumdog Millionaire, that movie infamously Oscar-blocked Brad Pitt back in 2008, where The Curious Case of Benjamin Button surely would have prevailed in multiple categories, if not for Danny Boyle's little movie that could. Now, years later, Pitt has been hoping to finally take the Oscar stage as a producer for 12 Years a Slave, where it's well known that the film would not exist if not for Pitt's passionate support. And it seemed a lock until David O. Russell did the hustle from seemingly out of nowhere. In fact, all of 12 Years a Slave's nominations now seem in jeopardy, but be careful, Hollywood! Moviegoers are already pretty miffed that in a year with several high-quality films featuring black talent in front of and behind the camera, only one has ended up with any real recognition from the industry. Will no wins at all for 12 Years a Slave undo an entire year's worth of progress?
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Wow! And you thought Jordan Belfort could sweet-talk his way out of anything. When The Wolf of Wall Street finally hit theaters on Christmas Day, Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese, riding high on great trailers and rave reviews from critics, were blindsided by, well, everyone else's reaction. Audiences were appalled by the film's nudity and shallowness, walking out of theaters across the country. The media not only ran with that, but published editorials about how the film was glorifying Belfort's criminal and immoral behavior. Plus, Scorsese infamously found himself publicly reprimanded by an Academy voter at a screening. Yet despite this whirlwind of negativity, DiCaprio and Scorsese would not budge, nor apologize for their film. They insisted that it did not sympathize with Belfort, and if you didn't get that, well then you just weren't a sophisticated moviegoer. And thanks to that strength of will, combined with DiCaprio and Scorsese's overall reputations and fan base, not to mention it's no longer Jesus' birthday so everyone's a little more chill, the Oscar narrative has indeed begun to change. Suddenly, The Wolf of Wall Street has 5 Oscar nominations, all in top categories. In fact, with its already developing cult fan base, The Wolf of Wall Street has actually become something of an underdog, the audience favorite. See? It's just like Jordan Belfort's first wife says, there's no such thing as bad publicity, and DiCaprio's hair did look good. And that's the second half of the 2014 Best Picture nominees. Which film do you think deserves the Oscar, or doesn't? Be sure to share your thoughts down below, as well as vote in the Beyond the Trailer Oscar poll. It closes on February 26th. And there's a write-in section for each category, just in case your favorite film of the year isn't a contender. I'm Grace Randolph, and I hope you'll check out the rest of BTT's Oscar coverage.